What's up, Cyber Family? This is your EBM brother, Electronic Body Music brother, Corrosion Star System speaking, and this is part one of part two. I was saying this is part one of a two-part video that I'm making on the EQs, explaining in my previous video the difference between a stock EQ plugin, how it can still work for you, and a third-party plugin like FabFilter that has dynamics in it that can also work for you, but also breaking the myth of this whole EQ war that you need a third-party EQ to sound good. No, you don't. Our stock EQ will work just as fine if you're not using it for an advanced level like I'll show you in FabFilter. But one thing that I have to say is I love you guys and girls and all of you, because if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be here. I now have 17 monthly followers in a period of 2 weeks on Spotify. Corrosion Star System, same way how you see it as my name on TikTok. Put it on Spotify. You'll find me there. Give me a follow. You guys are getting me close to 1,000 monthly followers that I need to qualify to submit so I can see if I can be able to perform at Dark Force Fest next year. Vampire Freaks Dark Force Fest, which is my goal, and you guys are helping me achieve that goal. And if it wasn't for you guys, I wouldn't be here. And I love you guys for that. And I appreciate you guys, and you guys are awesome, and girls and everyone. I appreciate you guys, and thank you guys so much for the support. Now on to the brass tacks. Now, when it comes to EQs, we're going to show here with the punchy drum a stock EQ that I'm going to bring up FabFilter. Now we're going to play this. Now, 482 hertz and 19% bell curve, as we see here. Now, as we see here, when I maximize this, negative 18 decibels, positive 18 decibels is the maximum decibel range that you can do. Now, I EQ'd it. It sounds good. I like it. And it could do a little bit more EQing, but it already sounds good to start. But this is exactly what I mean. You filtered out a frequency, you isolated that frequency, and you're done. Literally, it's going to do the same exact thing. Now, the only difference is, let's say, for example, if you know what, let's drop this down to negative 24 decibels. I want it at the same frequency, but negative 24 decibels. Well, yes, we could definitely do that. As you see, two EQs. You could stack EQ after EQ. And that's another thing. You limit it to 7 bands and 7 bands. So now you have a total of 14 bands here that you can definitely work with to control more frequency ranges. But I'm going to also show that what separates this from FabFilter. I mean, how FabFilter will be a one-up from this if you need that many bands. But we're also going to go into the dynamics as well in the next EQ. But let's go and isolate this down to negative 6. So right here we have 482. Right? So we'll just grab the same notch, and then we're going to go here, hit the control key, 482, there we go, 482, we're going to bring this to 19, 19, maximize this, put this right here, get to negative 6, alrighty. So right there, 19%, 482 hertz. Same thing here. If we maximize this, same thing, 19%, 482 hertz. So now we have negative 24 dB at this frequency. Sounding a little bit better. But let's say, for example, that, okay, you know what? I want to jump this up negative 6. I want it to hit a negative 20 dB. I mean, let's just hit this up negative 6. Let's just say, I'm sorry, negative 2. I say I want to hit this up at negative 18 a dB and then drop back down to negative 24 dB after when the kick hits. So now with the dynamic plugins, you could definitely do that. So what we're going to do is that we're going to turn both of these off, and they're off because if I play it, as you can see right here, they're not being responsive. So let's go into Pro Q3 and let's delete that. And same thing, we're going to go here and 482, just double checking. And let's go here. 4, 8, 2, enter. Now that's one thing that's actually a benefit. You could actually type in your values with Pro Q. You can't do that with Parametric EQ2, but you could do it with Pro Q3. Still, not saying that Parametric EQ2 is bad. It will work for you, but this is just, I'm going to show you the actual dynamic side of it. And we're going to bring this down to negative 24, enter. And the Q is... enter. Alrighty. 1.9, and let's just put this back to negative 24. Enter. Now let's say you want to get this back up to negative 18, right? So what we're going to do is, let's get this out of here and let's play this. So right here, let me maximize this again. Your dynamic range. This is your dynamic range. So what we're going to do is we're going to double click on this, type in 6, enter. So now when we play it, we see how the dynamic range is going to -6. There's also help windows here that you can see. So the dynamic behavior. As you can see right here, it acts as compression. Now, here's one thing you guys have to know. Even though a dynamic EQ will give you the actual compression, you can pause it and actually read it. It doesn't act like a true compressor. That is something I definitely have to stress, because I've been asked this before, not on TikTok, you know, I was not in the comments, but I've been asked this from friends who make music, like, hey, I saw this feature in FabFilter. Does it act like an actual compression? It gives you compression, but it doesn't act like an actual compressor. You cannot control the attack. You cannot control the release. You cannot control the look ahead. You can't control I'm just getting tongue tied. You can't control the compression ratio. You can't even control the knee. It's fixed. Because if we go here to auto and we play it, we see that you can control the threshold. But same thing, if you highlight your mouse over here, it tells you it's fixed. Even the knee is fixed. The algorithm using a soft knee, so it's a little below the selected threshold. Now, this may work for you. All right, you may not need a compressor, but this may work for you. But this is exactly what I mean. Like, it may or may not work for you, but that is actually the difference between a EQ that's dynamic compared to an EQ that's stock. See, there is no secret sauce that's going on. It all depends on you and what you need to do. So yeah, I'm going to be moving on to part 2. So yeah, this is Corrosion Star Systems signing out. Later, guys. See you in part 2 where I talk about Serum.